6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Waste Management Monitoring Committee, Thursday, November 4th, 2021, 6 p.m. Roll call.
All right, Marvin Wolf.
Here.
Harvey Schweitzer.
Here.
Annalisa Smith.
Here.
Here.
Stan Bugnacki.
Here.
Belinda Costa.
Here.
Sudarshan Sharma.
Here.
And then also present are Joe Spear from JSA Environmental, Brad Vanderkin and Ryan Baton from Waste Management.
And Alice.
And Alice. Alice Wolf, sorry, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Approval of the minutes.
Oh, wait, I also have to say, I'm sorry, the meeting was posted in accordance with the open meeting law. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, approval of minutes from August 5th, 2021. From August 5th, 2021. Everybody should have got a copy of that in their mail. Any questions on the minutes? Not hearing any. Do I have a motion to approve? Okay, second? Harvey? Okay, all those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Minutes pass. Now we'll move on to comment period. Not hearing none. Comment period closed. Financial report. Everybody should have got a copy of the financial. As of 10/25/21. Any questions in regards to the financial report? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
And second, okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Financial report is unanimous. New business, Joe Spears. Start with well report.
So you guys should all have a copy of this year's. I inadvertently told Katie when I shared it with you all that it was boring. She was nice enough to share with all of you that I thought it was boring. So the reason this is boring is because it's what we call clean run. And last year's was as well. There were no constituents found above the recommended action limit or the enforcement standard for any of the 256 chemical compounds we look for. That we call under the primary drinking water controls. The secondary drinking water controls include sulfate and iron, which we have wells that have a long history of having higher concentrations than that. They're not necessarily a threat to our health. Changes in sulfate, really it's the actual change that has an impact on our bodies, not the actual elevation. So when you go from has a lower sulfate content to a higher or vice versa, it does have a negative effect on your intestinal system, but your body corrects for it. Iron, usually it gets to a point where it gets high enough that there's a taste, and people either correct it themselves or have a new well or put it in an iron curtain. If you go to table 3, one of these days I'll number these for you, but it's after the 11/17 sheets. These are the wells this year that exceeded the federal secondary drinking water standards. They're all consistent with the wells that have exceeded before, up a little bit, and I assume their well or their actual drinking water system inside the house. If they've got galvanized pipes, it's starting to break down, so they're getting iron. Usually this is a problem, but I know from past speaking with them that they both have iron curtains, so they're when the report comes out because they're not tasting. And that's it. I don't have any recommendations for sampling for next year. I didn't print up the trend because there won't be any changes to it, and I didn't want to waste up your paper. So I do have the trend analysis that we've discussed, that what we call the background and history of the well sampling report. It's on the last report. It's up on the web page. I will put this up and I'll put it with it if you direct me to. But like I said, there won't be any changes to that document this year.
What's the effect of this long-term having too much iron in your well?
long-term effect on a human being or long-term effect on
the well.
On the well, it starts to settle out. So when the rust forms, it generates new compounds, and most of those compounds have a solid component, so it settles down into the bottom of your well. So it can get to the pump. So really, it's just more of a clogging, sort of cloudy issue. But again, most of it's taken care of by any kind of treatment system.
I'm in the Environmental Commission. A couple of people yesterday raised questions about PFA monitoring.
Mhm.
Is that being done? Questions about PFA monitoring.
Mhm.
Is that being done? or-
We have a couple PFAS on the list, but we haven't seen any hits ever.
Okay.
So PFAS is a little, this hasn't been updated not the report, sorry, the well sampling process has not been updated. Go up in that, it's unlikely. If PFAS gets into these, it is, I hate to say it, it's more likely from the leachate systems, not leachate, the septic systems of the individual's homes than it is from the landfill. Yes, there probably are PFAS in leachate, but it's more likely the shorter travel distance PFAS that's passed from the body ending up back into the groundwater.
I see. And these are documented, recorded and available online?
Mhm.
Okay.
So everything I do, because I work for the municipality, is public document.
Okay.
The municipality has chosen for me to keep it on my webpage. But I have to keep it. So I've got all the well sampling reports that JSA has ever done, and this one will go up once you guys approve it tonight.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve Joe Spear's report on the well sampling?
Move to approve.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, Mel. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. Landfill audit report.
The landfill's been going really smooth. Everybody's met Brad, right? I mean, we got a new manager.
Yeah. Okay, this is Brad, our new manager over at the site.
Took over for Travis about the same time as the last meeting was.
Yes.
About 3 months ago.
Yeah, he's only been one.
I've been working close with him. He's got the same attitude Travis has on keeping the site going and everything. Very, very good on it. Attitude Travis has on keeping the site going and everything. Very, very good on it. Yeah, we've been working close. Yeah. So, any other questions?
So we've done about half a dozen audits together.
Yeah.
The site cell is still under construction. We've watched it go from excavation to lining to the placement of. That's almost complete. They just need to push it up the sides, and the only reason it's not complete is you guys were short of material, right?
That's getting all done this week.
Yeah.
They're putting 9 new wells in the old hill, and the way our contract works is I don't actually audit the old hill, so I just record that it's done. I'll probably make a comment about the erosion that could occur in the auditing system. And they're putting the cap on 6 and 7, which is going to be great because that kind of leads nowhere on the site to a road that's uncapped other than the new cell, which I have to say with the other 4 landfills I get to look at on a regular basis, they'd be the only one.
6 and 7, that's on the southeast side.
Southeast corner.
See a lot of activity.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm curious on the active area. In the evenings after you're done, seems to be a lot of what appears to be white trash on the side of the hill. Guess I'm curious what that is. If it has daily cover, how's that all showing?
So it depends where you're looking at.
Off of 45.
Depending on the hill. So we do have some white tarps.
And then tarps are small pieces.
And so there is a waste stream that we have it comes from a glass facility it's like a MRF fines, and we use that to cover at the end of the night. So it's not actually, it's a waste stream, but it's approved as a daily cover material. So we use that to cover up trash.
What's a MRF fines?
Material
Is it
recovery
from
facility.
Material recovery facility.
It's
Is it
all
from
the,
SMI?
It is from
Relevant.
Strategic Materials. Yep.
it's all the stuff that breaks off and gets beat up and so on that is hard to manage when they heavy dust. And turns out it doesn't move very well. It doesn't have enough surface area to move well in the wind. It also tends to be highly reflective, so it glints and so on. So it's very noticeable from a distance.
You use that instead of dirt then?
Yep.
Is that right? How
Yes.
much do you put on top then?
We try and get more than 6 inches on the top every night.
Every night?
Yep.
And it's,
Go ahead.
sorry. And I will say that waste management, and especially when Travis was there, and I've used Dan Altsberger this across the street, waste management has this fundamental belief that you don't have to cover until you crest out of the hole. Now, I've noticed that is not the way. Brad operates. But prior to that, a lot of exposed waste was in the new cell that you can see down into it from 45.
It used to be worse than it is.
Yeah.
and I agree.
The MRF fines actually work better for letting water through the waste stream. It's better for trucks to drive on. So a lot of the current area where we're filling, we'll use that the MRF fines. And then after we're done in a certain area, then we'll cover with dirt to keep, because then the water will run off the direction we want it to go. And if I put dirt across the whole top, then then when it rains, trucks aren't getting in and out. And then they're tracking more dirt out than anything. So we try and use the MRF fines as best we can for areas that we're in actively, and then cover that up with dirt after the
Earth fines?
fact. I mean, the MRF fines.
Plastic and glass.
Yeah,
It ain't gonna break
Plastic
down.
and
I mean, plastic does break down, and based on what you have in your landfill, you can accelerate that, but it's still going to be very slow. I mean, you can talk about it in terms of 10 years to 100 years to 1,000. I mean, we have found organisms and so on that behave well in landfill conditions.
Brad, could I ask between now and our next meeting that maybe you get a small jar of it and bring it in to show the board what it is?
Yeah.
That way you guys will actually see what it is, okay?
Yeah.
Anybody got a problem with that?
It's better to use it for cover than to bury it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No. So yeah, it gets a Right. No. So yeah, it gets a beneficial.
Why not?
It's a beneficial use for us,
Absolutely.
and it works out pretty well for us.
How many years have you been using this type of thing?
To be honest, I couldn't tell you. Since I've been here, I'm guessing Travis has been using it for a while.
I was going to say 4 years in Emerald Park,
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so that's-
Okay. Any other questions? Not hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the land audit report? Okay, a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Not hearing none, it passes.
Aye.
Opposed? Not hearing none, it passes. We move on to waste management's report. Brad, you're up.
All right. We'll start with correspondence. DNR has made several construction inspection and attended our cell construction liner pre-construction meeting that we kicked off for 27th. So they're there before we start putting in the liner on the new cell. As far as construction goes, we've been pretty busy. Cell construction, we had liner placed. Contractors are working on placing gravel and installing the leachate gas system. As far as cap construction, our whole rooting zone is completed. Contractors working on placing topsoil and putting berms. Installation of leachate extraction wells and 3 head wells on the North 60 has started just last week, 27th, early next week, maybe this week, depending on how things go. Our clay stockpile is currently getting topsoil. I think the topsoil is done. We're seeding it right now today. They actually had some guys out there working on seeding. And then the annual private drinking water sample, 35 wells near Metro was completed, and the results were mailed to the homeowners. As far as normal site operations, we're still filling in 2A and 2B on the northern, right now we're the northern section of the cell. Waste volumes are pretty steady. We're seeing about 3,000 tons a day. We've added a few horse help collect gas and keep odors down. Residential yard has been operating pretty well for us lately, with the hauling companies back to fully staffed. Well, I wouldn't say fully staffed, but enough where they're helping us haul those boxes and making sure that we're trying to stay up on those keeping those, stay up on those, keeping those boxes empty as quickly as we can. That's kind of overview of where we're at.
Any questions from Brad?
Did the driveway ever get fixed? You always talk about their drive, is that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
their drive, is that?
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
You guys been doing anything about the drive? I
so,
mean, there's so many holes out there, it's
yeah, we're
unbelievable.
working on getting,
Gotta do something about that.
hopefully actually in the next couple months to get some of those, patches in and getting that smoothed out a little bit so that cars are coming through a little bit better,
Sounds like Travis for the last 2 years.
Yeah. No,
In
it's
the next
good.
couple months.
We got a contractor quote coming in.
Yep.
Driving in this hole, when you're going around this hole, you're going out the hole.
Yeah.
I've had my car aligned twice already.
Yes.
He's here.
That's
Getting big.
funds already, so
Yeah, I know.
we're gonna get something rolling here, hopefully sooner than later. See how the weather pans out and what jobs are coming off of all the contracts.
You know when that may happen?
I couldn't give you a solid answer on when. All those contractors are so busy right now, there's so many jobs. As soon as I can get them in and they're available, to get it rolling.
Any more questions for Brad? Yes.
Where's the yard debris being taken and processed?
Say that again.
Where's the yard debris being processed?
So the yard waste, we're just doing right on site. We're grinding it on site and using it on the landfill if we can, or we're stockpiling it right now.
If you're going back to one of the audits, so Brad, I don't think we've been out together when they were processing it, but we had the one audit when they were taking the stuff that couldn't be used for anything.
Yep.
And that was going into the waste bins.
Yeah.
So if that triggered your question, that was just, the wood was just too bad it shaved too long in the mud, nobody would allow it to go through their mills and so on.
Yeah, or a lot of times
And stones.
the stuff that's brought in isn't grindable and we gotta segregate that out. There's no other use for it.
Well, was there a time where you were subbing for that? Are you still subcontracting?
The grinding portion of it, yes. Yep.
Any other questions? Not hearing any, do we have a motion to approve Brad's report?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Not hearing any. Miscellaneous business by authorization. Okay, I'm gonna bring up some stuff. I just talked to Brad, Ryan, and Joe. This is you guys get this when you get your well sampling report, right? Everybody gets this, they know what this is. Okay, the four of us are gonna sit down and talk about this some more. We're gonna change this sheet. Because a normal citizen gets that, do they know what it is? What it says? Okay, well, that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna change it so that, for example, if you would have high iron in your water, you're gonna get a simple letter. This is the low parameter, this is the high parameter, and this is what you came in at, and this is the results saying whether it's drinkable or not drinkable and what's tolerable. That you would understand compared to having a sheet like this. That's okay, so
Are
what?
you opening up a can of worms there where if it doesn't exceed the standards, you're telling these people their water might not be ready, they shouldn't be able to drink it?
Davies and maybe Ryan, but I know Davies is already sending out a letter anytime there's an exceedance to make sure that the people understand that it's, not possibly Davies that caused it and so on. So they're already
We'll put a
getting
clause
information
on the
about
letter
that.
stating that.
I don't know that you should do that. That letter comes with a standard form that the state recommendation is a certain exceedance, correct?
Yes.
If it already has an exceedance level that the state tells them, I don't think you should go and get involved with it more than that. They can read the report. They see it's too much iron, it's too much iron. They can see that. I think you're heading down a rat hole with that.
What do you gentlemen think?
Typically, when we send out our reports, we summarize in the beginning if there is any exceedance, these last reports, like Joel was saying, there was nothing really of concern, go too much into detail further than that, so.
But you tell them that there was an exceedance on your well this
Right.
year on this
If
particular.
there was something particular on that well.
They've been told that before.
And I think that's where you should stay. Otherwise, you're really changing the language of the contract, so we gotta, before you can't decide that.
I just think that Waste Management shouldn't be spending the money for the full analytical report. That's the part I don't understand, is why all the homeowners are being treated as the actual purchaser of the testing. And the letter stating an exceedance occurred or didn't, should be enough.
That's what I mean, it's just. the
Right, but
original
they're
letter.
receiving the entire packet.
They're the whole
Oh,
packet.
They should just get the letter and say.
That's what I'm saying, they should get a letter, not this entire packet.
I don't-
That's what we're
I don't
trying to get
send
away
out
from
the-
is this.
When I send out the letter, they just get the section of that report, so that's 107 pages, but it's got all 35 people in there, so I only give them the pages that apply to that.
Some of them are 4 and 5 pages long
Right.
So you're
that you're
saying,
getting of this. See what I'm saying? Instead, plus the cover letter that goes with it.
Yep.
Now, is that because they have 4 or 5 wells? Or is it-
No, it's just all that are sampled.
Do you send a letter to everybody? Okay.
Yeah.
are all the 35 names listed on there?
No,
So that,
just the homeowner, just my name on it.
So-
That's all. You know, each one gets a separate one with their name on and what their results is for their well.
Just the homeowner.
Just the homeowner.
Well,
But we're trying to go with this one, just use the cover letter.
use the cover letter and tell them if they want to get more information, they can contact City Hall, because
Right.
it's on record here at City Hall.
Okay, well, that's why I'm bringing it up, because we're trying to cut back on paper and we're trying to cut back on, because a lot of people get this and I've been getting phone calls, they have no idea what this means. See what I'm trying to stop?
Yeah, so then it's the cover letter saying your well exceeded here.
Right.
or did not?
It did not. Whatever, one way or the other, and, you know, there's more information available at City Hall.
Correct.
Okay, that's what we're looking at.
I would go with that without a doubt.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, does anybody else have any comments on it? Anna Lee, you work with it, come on, please.
I mean, I just always think less words are more, so if it could be bulleted or in a chart of some sort, I find that more effective.
And that's what I'm trying to do, less words than this, okay? So that's the whole name of the game. So between now and next meeting, we'll sit down and we'll review it, and I will check it with Jesse to make sure that we're not exceeding the contract, okay? So the board is gonna be, so you are aware of what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Okay, and then we will bring it back and vote on it here at the board, okay?
I don't know.
Okay?
I don't know.
Does that sound feasible for all of you?
Yep.
Okay, well, that was one thing that took off. Anybody got anything else they want to discuss? Not hearing any. Next scheduled meetings will be February 3rd, May 5th, August 4th, and November 3rd. It's on the bottom of your agenda. Okay, at this time, could I entertain a motion for just close the meeting?
So moved?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting closed.